Slip and Dip podcast.
Oh, beautiful, man.
Woo! Episode 90, Slip and Dip podcast. Kendrick Johnson, Matthew Wells, fresh off the heels of UFC 235. We literally had everything. Crazy stoppages. A champ almost loses fight belt illegally. A new champ. And we have maybe a new star on the women's side. A little everything. And still Jon Jones. And new friend of the show told us a year and a half ago in episode 8. Colby Usman.
Yeah.
He said exactly what he was going to do. Go back in the archives. That was not a fluke. And that's the only way he could have won. If he was going to win, I was in shock that he did what he did. I didn't know if he could do it for the full 25. Shit, he could have did it for the full 50. He made that look easy. We like Tyron, but the better man won last night.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll break it all down. Let's start at the very top, man, because I mean,
like first fight to happen. Or no, wait, top.
No, we'll stop at the top. The main event action. Johnny Bones Jones doing Jon Jones things, and I wrote a 1,300 word piece on how Anthony Smith could get the job done at UFC 235, and he literally did not a one of those things. And
he needs that GOAT energy, like Tyron said. Because it was funny, he said, better he hugged Jon Jones. He's like, "What you doing, brother?" He said, "I want that GOAT energy."
It's like he didn't do anything. Like the whole fight was basically like Anthony Smith like being a sparring partner for Jon Jones that wanted to just let Jon Jones work out. Like that was the entire fight. And I even put that in my piece. I was like, don't let Jon Jones be the A-side sparring partner. Don't let that happen. And that's exactly what happened for 5 rounds.
But here's my thing with people. Is there a person that can beat Jon Jones? I think he's early 20s. I think he's early 20s, not even in the UFC yet.
Yeah.
He might be in the next year or two and catch Jon Jones in the next. Jon Jones is 31. Catch Jon Jones circa 2024. I think that person is going to be Father Time catching everybody. We'll get to that in a second. But do people really think that whoever the dude is, he don't have double figure losses? Whoever he is.
Exactly.
I don't know who he is. I don't know where he come from, what country he from, but I'll put my whole check that he don't got double figure losses.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
And nobody talked
100%.
about that. Nobody talked about that.
Shit, I talked about it. But yeah.
I was like, nah, it may be a person out there, but they don't got double figure. If anything, they losses counted on one hand.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So I thought that was rather crazy. And the fact that he was under $1,000 underdog is beyond crazy too. He was only double Daniel Cormier, barely, because Daniel Cormier was plus 230 at I don't get the number, but when he beat Stipe, he was plus at 510. Like that's crazy. It's not that much more. It's only twice as much.
Yeah, it still would have been.
He was like 5 times as much of an underdog.
Still would have been the biggest upset ever. I think the line closed at minus 800 right as they were doing their touch gloves, or because I was on 5 now refreshing.
Shit like that.
Refreshing.
Second?
No. I was just watching it this time just to see what it closed at. It closed at minus 800, at least on 5 dimes for Jon Jones, which is crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. And I mean, hey, there's very few things that are sure things in MMA, but last night, if you were betting Jon Jones, I mean, that's pretty much a sure thing.
Other than we go skip the fight, it was one-sided and then talk about sparring session.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it was.
But the fact that Anthony Smith had the belt in his hand because of a legal blow, I wonder how many people would have lost money or won money had he did like a lot of people do. Because like Joe Rogan hit a nail in the head. I've seen it in boxing too. A lot worse damage, and I can't continue.
Yeah,
can't done whatnot. I didn't realize that he got the belt. I got at school. I knew he would have got the decision, but I know belt shades that way. In the same way in boxing. Because a classic example is Roy Jones Jr. in his prime. First career loss was by illegal blow to Montreal Griffin in 1992, and he beat him in a minute, 4 months later. But he was without his belt for 4 months.
Right? Yeah, it's not how the WWE goes down. There's a lot of people that were surprised about that too on Twitter, and like, yeah, not WWE, bro. Like you can't purposely get yourself disqualified and still walk away with your belt. It just don't work that way. Because that was the thing that's the thing. Like you got to think like, let's say if Jon Jones was in Anthony Smith's position, or we can back it up a fight earlier. Let's say if it was Tyron Woodley, he was like, man, I'm getting dominated. I'm gonna go out here and just kick him in the nuts 3 times. and go home with my belt. Like, that's just not how it works. It just doesn't work that way. It just does not work that way.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it was.
But to me, it was like an illegal blow. But at the same time, it should have meant 2 points. He was changing levels. It wasn't egregious. It was one of those things like it happens, part of the sport. Like you protect yourself all the time, and you're supposed to control your parts and your striking zone all times. But he's clearly changing zones. You can see how it happened.
Yeah, I hate the whole hand game. I do hate that because it's different. Not only is it just a silly rule because fighters like to play that game, but that rule is different literally from your palm flat or having your fingertips. That's legal here some places. Like, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, another thing that's with Jon Jones with his style. I know you because you look at the little stuff. The fact that he's blatantly doing that stuff, there's going to be somebody like our guy. What's our guy from? I always forget.
Tweet right here if you're watching on YouTube.
Our guy that's 6'6", the guy that's I always forget his name. It was on Oklahoma City. That's up and coming.
Oh, Dominic Reyes.
Yeah, someone like that is as tall as Jon Jones. When he's doing that stuff with his hands, he can easily poke him because they're the same eye level.
He pokes everybody with that. Like,
yeah, that's going to be something that's going to come into a fight. I don't know when it is, but it's going to come in at a bad time. It's going to cause controversy because he's blatantly got his shit open.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised Herb Dean didn't call him out on that.
No warning or nothing.
Because he was doing it a lot. And that was also something I wrote about on my piece on Fanside. Go check it out, read it, even though the fight's over. Just read it for me. But yeah, that was something, that could have happened. But again, like, going back to this illegal strike thing real quick, though, like, you got to think all of the things that could have come, both positive and negative, if Anthony Smith just said, done the Ric Flair like we're seeing right here on the YouTube. Like, if he just did that, one, you get champion pay your next time out. You're going to get some more endorsements deals because, like, your endorsements really don't care whether or not, like, how you won the belt. At the end of the day, you are the UFC light heavyweight champion. So you're going to get more money out of this deal.
And then you'll be forever a former UFC.
Exactly. Your name's going to be in the record books forever. To some people, to true historians of the sport, so to speak, there may be that asterisk, right? But at the end of the day, your name's in the record books. Your name is going to be in the record book. It's going to say Anthony Smith defeat Jon Jones. How? That's when you start to look at it and be like, okay.
It's like he has Matt Humble.
Yeah, Matt Hamill, exactly. But again, like everybody, nobody really thinks that's a loss, right? It would have been the same thing here. Fans would have been on Anthony Smith's ass forever about that. Forever. I forget what was the fight recently. There was a fight recently where a guy took an illegal blow and said, "You know what, I'm done," and he was getting his ass whooped before that. I wish I could remember what fight. No, this was MMA. It was recently, and it was in the UFC, and I'm just drawing a blank on whoever it was. I was trying to think of it earlier. Couldn't come up with it.
There was a fight recently. I forget if it was boxing. They all ran together.
Yeah, no, it was definitely MMA. Somebody please leave in the comments on YouTube, like, which fight that was that I'm talking about. But same thing. Like, everybody was on his ass for, like, dude, you could have kept going. Like, you took the easy way out. This
Joe Rogan, he said a lot of people take a lot less, 10 times less, and take the way out.
Yeah, it's a very tricky thing, and I mean, it's very honorable to do what Anthony Smith did. I think he did the right thing for the long term, but financially, it was obviously not the right decision. But if you're not worried about your finances or anything like that, good on you, Anthony Smith.
The whole thing about your article that you left out, Anthony Smith, don't let the coolest thing about your night with Jon Jones be your walkout. And that was the coolest thing about his night.
I like it. I like that. Yes. Don't return in the Mac. I love that. That's
he got one of the top 5. He didn't crept in there.
Yeah, when you think about timeless songs, like, that's one of the timeless, like, hip hop, like,
and someone who else is creeping in there because he has had the championship swag for the last 3 years since we known him, and it was on for the world to see. He was in no hurry as a challenger last night. He acted the whole week. He dressed the part. He lived the part. He was the champ on the way out the cage. Hats off again to Kamaru, Nigerian Nightmare, Usman, who dominated Tyron Woodley. Everything Tyron Woodley has done for the last 3 or 4 years, it's like he watched every move like, that ain't happening to me. That ain't happening to me. He was 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And then even when they threw, he got the better exchanges. I think Tyron's a better striker, but Tyron waited too long. Hats off to our man Dean. And I always like to see when things are not going right, how you see a trainer. He gave him advice just to give him a shot because he could live for it, and he was not listening.
He didn't give him advice. He got in his ass. And that's what you love to see when a fighter is not... He wasn't awake. It was like Tyron was just going through the motions.
He was on autopilot.
Exactly.
And we didn't get that fake advice, though. The worst training moment ever to me is Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey. She damn near survives the first round, and Edmund comes up to her, champ, you're doing good. Just forget about that first round. You're doing good. And we didn't see a second round.
Yeah. Exactly. It was great. It was great advice from Dean to really dig into him. He was like, "You really gonna let this guy do this to you? Are you like?" He was giving him that real talk, and that's what you want to see. Even though Tyron still didn't go out there and use it, he used it for maybe like the first 10 seconds.
He can't blame his training.
First 10 seconds or so. Tyron was like, "All right, I'm gonna come moving forward," and then all of a sudden he just like got back into it. Like it was like he said after the fight, he was like, "I really felt like I was in a dream," and that's like I wanted to say it like I was gonna say it like right as he was walking out.
See, I didn't watch the old posts other than Robbie's. Yeah, and shout out to Heidi Fang. I watch Heidi's stuff. Yeah. Heidi, she does a good job for the Las Vegas Review Journal. Yes. I saw her videos and I saw like the little like minute and a half clips. But once again, Father Tom shows up and y'all people don't look at it. People think all of a sudden he gonna fall off and be some nobody that can't win. That's not what Father Tom means. Father Tom is when you see somebody at elite level, no matter the sport, have stuff happen to them and a very negative consequences on a big stage in a team sport or in a combat sports, have a worst fight of their career at a certain age. You know that's not going to be overnight. Oh, he can't beat nobody or nothing like that. He needs to retire. But you will not see him fight at a championship level the rest of his career.
We'll see.
Because if you notice, when these Father Time moments happen for guys, it's between 36, 38, sometimes 39. Women, between 30 and 33. You're starting to see that pattern. And it's like, they might still be winning, but when they get tapped on there, boom. Or just like the person, we going to have an insight on this one, Cody Garbrandt. His days as a title contender are over. For the simple fact, he's only 27, I think, maybe 28. But the guy's been knocked out 3 times in a row. So that jar is open anytime he gets any contact.
We'll get to that in a second. I do want to talk about the Coco main event, which had a lot of controversy in it.
He said the Coco.
The Coco main event. The Coco main event. That was a huge fight, man.
I would say you making up shit, but it was on the poster, so it is the Coco.
Exactly. You got to throw it up there. So let's talk about it. So we're talking about obviously Robbie Lawler against Ben Askren, who's finally made his UFC debut. Everything is right in the world of MMA now that Ben Askren has stepped into the UFC's octagon. Like finally, at least he's in there with the elite of the elite, because that's been the question his entire career, right? Can Ben Askren do this against the elite, the UFC level competition? And we saw Robbie Lawler put him in one of the most vicious positions, like the most nastiest slam I think since Rampage's slam back in Pride. Like pretty legit hit him with the.
That's did you
hit him with the John Cena.
Like that?
He hit him with the John. Yeah, of course. He hit him with the John Cena.
He had a real life FU in a fight,
and then survives this. Like we're showing the highlight right here on YouTube. Like if you're listening on iTunes or on Spreaker, please go check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. We show these clips as we're talking about them as much as possible. But yes, to survive that slam and survive that onslaught shows a lot. It says a lot about Ben Askren.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying the guy's a bum, but my whole thing is
he's undefeated. He's not a bum. He's undefeated. He's not a bum.
And then say you get this strap. You get a UFC strap, I give you props. I'm not going to call you a bum, but I'm not going to say you're a Hall of Famer either when your lack of competition up to this point, up until last night, has been like, yeah, all right. Like, Robbie Lawler's not all right.
How does he survive that? That's so
I don't
nasty.
know.
That's amazing to survive that. I think there was
is that Herb Dean made a championship referee move and an amateur referee move in the same fight within like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
But,
it's amazing.
Regardless of what side of the fence you on, questionable start. People are 50-50, but there's 2 facts that need to be told. One, his head did not go down. It might have felt limp to her, but it did not go down like the whole classic drop that we see. It did not go down. I don't know what people are talking about. Bob Bennett, he's always been nice to me, but he's wrong on that one.
He was very wrong when he was talking about that after the fight. Very wrong.
When are these officials going to have some repercussions? We just got done talking about Jon. He didn't mean to do that illegal strike, but he could have lost his belt last night for effing up on a big stage. So what's going to happen to the referee? I got to know. You can't. If you don't have no repercussions, you can't expect a different result.
Yes.
Even the Tyron fight, that was not irreprehensible, but Mr. Golder could have. He slowed the pace of that fight and gave Tyron chances that he should have no business having.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up the clip of that. But yeah, the thing is that Robbie Lawler's arm did like slide off and just hit the canvas, right? And then what happened was, for people that didn't see it, I mean, I wouldn't expect anybody listening to this to have not seen it, but Herb Dean runs in and lifts up his arm, and Robbie Lawler doesn't let his arm hit the canvas again. He even gives a quick little thumbs up.
I didn't see that. I saw his do the little, I thought the Leo Santa Cruz. I saw his hand go back, but he clearly did not touch though.
Right. He gives him a quick little thumbs up and then continues to worry about the position that he's in. And for Herb to call it off that quickly it's unfortunate because like you can't see or hear, like Robbie can't talk in that position, right? He's got an arm wrapped around his throat. He can't talk. And of course his head is facing the canvas. You can't see like his eye movement or anything. You can't really tell if he's awake. You can't look into his eyes and tell, like, you can't see any of that. And it's unfortunate that's how it played out. But at the same time, Ben Askren had that thing locked in. And I don't see how Robbie would have gotten out of it, especially a guy that's as accomplished as a grappler of Ben Askren. I can't find a good clip with that one angle that I was talking about.
Talking about the reverse angle. They showed it in the replay.
Yeah, the one that's like cage level where you can clearly see everything happening. I can't find it. But at the end of the day, Herb made a huge mistake. And I want to say, like, Robbie Lawler, man, props to you for being like one of the coolest dudes on the planet. Because he got up yelling for like maybe 2 seconds. He was like, "What are you doing, Herb? I wasn't out." And Herb was like, "Hey, man, I mean, wait." And then Robbie was like, "It's all good." like, thank you. Like, you don't need to go ballistic in that situation. There's no reason to just continue to yell and make a scene and do all this other craziness. Like, the outcome is not going to change. Like, the decision was made. You can't go back and change it. And Robbie understands that. Robbie understands that, and I love him for that. Because he was just like, you know what, Herb? All right, man, you made a mistake. Dabbed him up, and that's what it was.
I've never seen whatchamacallit somebody be in such a quote-unquote severe choke that they that they get up. What the F?
He said after the fact that he was trying to think of a way like he could pick him up and slam him out of it, which sounds good. I don't know if it could have happened. I'll just say that. So,
but you didn't know what the first one was going to happen though either though.
No, you really didn't, and it, like I said, it's just a tough situation.
I give a slim chance.
Just a very tough situation all the way around, and
they got to be running back though.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it if they do want to run it back. I mean, again, he had him in a very tough spot. And that's just part of the game. He had him in a very tough spot. I mean, I found a picture right here, and this is when the arm was going down, but I can't find that GIF. People had GIFs all night last night, and I should have saved one of them. So sorry about that, YouTube peoples. But yeah, I want to talk to another thing about that pretty much made my Twitter blow up this weekend. Was Colby Covington doing Colby Covington things, basically just being one of the biggest characters in the MMA game right now. He confronted Dana White, who was on his own time in his own place, minding his own business, gambling a little bit at the Palms, playing some blackjack with some friends around. I will say friends because we don't know who everybody was around. All these people jumping to conclusions on the internet like they usually do. But so here's the clip.
How'd you catch this for everybody else? That's all I would know. Like, so, you go creeping at midnight, he's like, oh shit. I was actually,
I do this from time to time, like pretty much everybody does. You open up your phone, you go to Instagram, you see what's going on. I was actually trying to find something about Colby doing some shit at the open workouts. I was trying to see if he posted anything on his thing, like on his live or something, I was checking. And I just come across it, and he's live, so I was like, okay, what's going on? And then the video that I recorded, as he is playing here again on YouTube, but it's the video, the part that I actually recorded is from the middle of it. So the thing actually starts It actually starts in the parking lot, or like right out in front of the casino. And Colby is in front of Dana's car. He's in front of Dana's car. He's like, hey, Dana White, I'm here. I'm coming to find you, ask you why I'm not fighting for the title this weekend. I found your car and all this other crap. He says, look, here's your license plate. He points at the license plate and he zooms in on the license plate. I'm like, what are you doing right now? And so I didn't record all of that because I'm like, I don't need that. Like, I'm sure nobody wants that part to blow up, right? So it continues from there. He walks inside the casino. He asks a few people that work at the casino, hey, where's the high roller section? Because that's obviously where Dana White would be. He wouldn't be amongst the crowd, gambling, for the $20 hand, right? But so he asks a few people.
$20 hand.
Yeah, and then this party in the video where we're at right now is when he's like almost right outside of the high roller section at the Palms in Las Vegas, which is off the strip for people that aren't familiar. But yeah, this is also one of the few casinos where Dana can gamble at because other casinos have banned him. And he walks up on him, confronts Dana White, and then of course, the video ends quickly after that. After Dana is like, "Hey, stop recording me, stop filming me." Like you're not.
I was laughing at people getting up out of you though. That was funny though.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. But the thing is like Colby did a lot of stuff this weekend. He showed up to the open workouts with a little Fisher-Price megaphone.
He said a Fisher-Price
to make his presence felt.
You don't like Mr. Monty. He rubbed you the wrong way.
Well, no, like not with that angle. Hell no. Like I liked Colby. I liked the Colby Covington that I talked to at UFC 202 or 203 in Vegas before he started doing all this. Who was just a normal dude. Like that. That was also like that was the first fight Max Griffin was in the UFC. And that was around the whole time, the last major effort of a union from the UFC fighters too, which is kind of all of a crazy thing. But yeah, so he does that. He shows up at the open workouts. He does the thing outside of the weigh-ins where he's got his whole thing of the little posters printed up, make welterweight great again. He was doing a lot of stuff to make sure people didn't forget his name this weekend during the welterweight title fight. Showed up cage side at the main event, all this other crap. Pissed off Kamaru Usman. They even got in a fight today.
What did they get in today? I'd say today.
They got in a fight today. Apparently, it looked like it was at the line at a buffet in one of these casinos.
You need to go back. Do you remember at the UFC Brooklyn press conference last year when the Conor stuff went off? At that press conference, yours truly asked Kamaru, you need to pull that up at a later show. What's his beef with Colby? And he took off the glasses. Remember, he had the African get up, his sheet.
Yeah, so he had it right here.
And he basically told him, we live 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna happen to you. You need to stop playing in front of these people. That's why I knew Kamaru was about that life.
Yeah, and it looks like they're in a line at a casino buffet here. There's a lot of people.
It looks like they're at MTL.
There's a lot of people. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, I don't know which casino that is, but
is that Ali? Ali's up in there.
Yes, of course, Ali. Ali is the loudest one instigating everything.
I can't hear it through here.
Yeah, it's just yelling. Like you can't really tell what anybody's saying, but they're just yelling. Ali is of course the one trying to push people out of the way. He actually pushes Colby at one point.
And probably gave TMZ this video.
I mean, Ali doing non-managerial things.
Ali doing Ali things.
Exactly. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. So people out there, the whole video is on TMZ.
I ain't know about this, bro. This is comedy, dude.
Yeah, the whole thing's on TMZ.
This is comedy.
They got that video.
I want to see if this pops up on a promo.
I don't know. Maybe. They've got a lot of material they can use from their promo, which is why that's going to be the next fight to happen. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, UFC too. I mean, he did his thing and got his name in everybody's mind, and he's going to be the guy that's going to be next in line for that title fight. Overall, the event as a whole, man, it had a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff happened. Yeah, and Tisha Torres took a L against Weili Zhang.
Why do these people not change their styles? Two things I saw that get on my nerves with these MMA. People that do the same thing that didn't work last time, gonna do it again next time. Don't work. Same result, and be shocked. Like she was mad because it was 30-27 when she knew she didn't win more than one round at the best.
Exactly.
And then two, in like the because we had everything in the Jon and Lionheart situation. How his team gonna let him come out there and know he had no chance to the fourth? He shouldn't even came out there for the fifth round. Why did he even take those unnecessary? It was just like Jon Jones was sparring with him and like barely touching him, wasn't trying to get him out of there. But why did he? Did they even let him go out of the fifth round? He wasn't gonna win. He was trying to keep him getting surviving. That was it.
Yeah.
Like he really compare everybody like, man, we lived 16 another day. And Jon Jones, in a weird way, nobody talking about this. I think he got exposed.
How did we get back on this fight? We were talking about prelims.
I'm thinking about my whatchamacallit, my final was the sum of the card. I don't think but he's smart enough to know that his skill set transfers as a dominant heavyweight. I'm not trying to say he can't win a heavyweight fight or even become heavyweight champion, but he would not be a dominant heavyweight.
I don't know, man, that's a whole nother conversation I don't want to get into right now. I want to wrap up this card so we can get to our first guest, Shawn Porter. Zabit looked great. Zabit looked great.
I can't say he looked great. He looked good.
Great. Against Jeremy Stevens, a guy who comes forward with heavy power. Looked great.
But Zabit get hit a little too much. I can't say he looked great. He did what he had to do.
Johnny Walker made big waves.
That dude looked great.
Amazing. And
yeah, that guy looked great.
You take more damage in your celebration than you do in the fight. Yeah, that's something crazy.
You do it too much.
Yeah, just ran through Misha Serkinov. Beautiful flying knee.
Now that dude looked great. That's what it looked like right there.
Yeah, Cody Stamann that was a ho-hum decision. Diego Sanchez is timeless.
Mickey Gal, you got a long way to go, bro. Your hands are shitty like some tissue.
He may need to go
back to Bellator.
Well, he never was in Bellator, but he may need to go somewhere else to get some more experience.
Yeah, he has no hands.
Yeah, he's got no hands. Yeah. And for a guy that's a grappler to get basically let Diego Sanchez, he was a lot smaller than he is, just manhandle him on the ground was crazy. And Gall said after the fight that he did pass out in his weight cut, and he said that affected him in the fight. Okay, I mean, I can believe it. Why do people want to talk about stuff that happens? If you're in the cage, what happens in the cage is what happens in the cage. Like Ali doing Ali things. He sits there and lets out a video that Kamaru had a broken foot, which I heard before. I heard like early yesterday morning. Yeah.
But so I'm not saying it's a lie. But why is that relevant? He won.
It's very relevant.
Okay.
Still.
If he lost, you lost. You shouldn't have your ass in the cage. Hey, he won. He won with a broken foot. You still champion of the world.
But now he won with a broken foot. That's more impressive.
You don't get any more money. Like I don't.
It's layers to the story, my man. That's all it is, and I love it. I love it that he didn't pull out of the fight because that's something that he could have done. He could have pulled out.
But they weren't showing it though. They weren't showing it though. They were just like, "Yeah, we've been doing all this, and we still won. We champions over here." But you pull out that video. What did you say?
Well, he brought it up. Huh? He brought it up in the post fight. He said, because he arrived to the press conference in a wheelchair. Yeah, that was the very first. That was the very first question. There you go. It wasn't like Ali just said, "Hey, he did all this with a broken foot." No, Ali was just verifying what he was saying.
Show note: Macy Chiesa. I'm trying to get her on the show. Macy, you and Coach
Macy Chasson.
Yeah, you and Coach Safe. We gotta get you. She be putting in work. She getting chicks out of there.
Yeah, and I think
she got bad intentions when she fight. I like that.
Charles Bird ran into a guy that's going to be a problem for a lot of people in the future. A young, I don't know if I want to call him a phenom just yet, but the dude looks impressive in Edmund Shabazian. So. Very good work. We'll try to get Macy Chasson on the show soon, and Hannah Cyphers kicked off the show with a dub as well. So that was UFC 235. All in all, a good show. A lot of weird moments, but hey, at the end of the day, we end up with a and new and still. And a whole lot of what the fuck was that? So
please enjoy our guests. We're about to have Shawn Showtime Porter, who will be fighting this Saturday, defending his WBC welterweight belt. And we'll have friend of the shows, two friends, both Cynthia Calvillo and Justin Buchholz, who will give us some exclusive stuff on the demise of Colby Covington.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned.
Boom. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe on iTunes. Leave us a review. 5 stars. All that good stuff. Share it with your friends. Everything. Just trying to grow the show. We're not asking for money yet. We will see you next week. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Please welcome back to the Slip and Dip Podcast. Finna defend his WBC welterweight title for the first time this weekend against your Dinas Ugas WBC welterweight champ, Shawn Showtime Porter, and still.
We almost there, fellas, man. We ain't got but about 5 or 6 days or something like that, man. We almost there.
How much you think your experience is going to come into play? Because you just look at his record, it's like, who he fight? Like I say, who he play for, who he fight?
You know, I'm not even. Let's look beyond the boxing part of it, man. Let's take a look at the ambiance, man. This is gonna be a pro Porter crowd. You know what I mean? Like he's hardly gotten in front of this kind of crowd before, and certainly not a crowd that knew who he was or the guy that he was fighting. Most of the fights that he's been in, like it's been kind of the thing where nobody knew who either of them were. So you pick who's doing the best. And so eventually you pick Ugas because he's doing better than anybody he's been in the ring with. I mean, coming out to the ring, that alone, I imagine might shake him up a little bit.
What do you think about the face-offs? I know PBC got the face-offs, and like we know you personally, you're a great guy, but when it comes to business, you about business. It's like something in the middle of that interview, you clicked it to Showtime, Sean P, and went for Shawn Porter because you were kind of like, yeah, and then you sat there and looked at my man. He was speaking that Cuban Espanol, and my man Sean got serious.
And listen, I really don't like watching myself, man. I'm starting to get used to it because I've watched the Face Off about 3 times so far, and I've watched a few of the others as well, man. I'm like, this guy and Dinas Ugas doesn't even speak English, but him and I have had the best face-off so far, face-to-face so far. And, I mean, the moment brought a lot out of me, a lot of what you see in fights and things like that. So, I mean, honestly, man, I'm taking it all in stride. I'm enjoying it all, man. I'm trying not to take anything for granted. I'm trying to live in the blessing and earn the rest of the blessings that are coming.
Beautiful, man. So tell me a little bit about moving your camp to DC. I saw you tweet that out. What was the main reason behind that? And, do you feel that you've unlocked something different in doing that for this fight?
You know what? Honestly, I think we did. I think I'll answer the second part of that. I think we unlocked something different. I think being in a different camp, different atmosphere, with the headbangers who I can assure y'all there's nobody in this world that works harder than them collectively, the entire gym. Guys as young as 17, and they're pushing as hard as Lamont Anthony Peterson, who just will not stop in the gym, man. It's wild, and it's unbelievable, man. It's really inspirational. But my dad said after the last fight, he says, we gotta let this performance center go. He says we fight once, twice a year, and we're paying to be in this facility for 360 days. He said, we're technically only using the facility for about 30 to 40 days. There's no point in us paying for this, and we're not using it. So we're actually in the process of trying to find a property to build on so that we can revamp everything we got going out here in Vegas, and hopefully we'll be ready to do the next camp out here. But rest assured, man, we are not done with the headbangers. They work hard. That's exactly what my dad likes, and that's what I'm motivated to do, So and then the other part of that as well is, I've never worked directly with Barry Hunter the way I was able to this camp. He's been in my corner since I turned professional. He's probably been out of my 32 or 33 fights, he's probably been in my corner at least half of them, and especially as an amateur as well. But we've never been able to get together on multiple occasions and get some consistent training. So that was another part of the move as well.
Hey, you gotta make the boss happy, KP. Don't want him mad at you.
Yeah,
I'm listening to Performance Center, man.
I just got word from the other boss that my boss is happy. So
that's
yeah.
great. That's
I'm
right.
listening to Performance Training Center, man. We had good times there next to the 7-Eleven, chilling. When I go in Vegas, coming through there, man, I've been there.
Yeah. That's where it's at, and everybody's like, man, you're performing your center closed, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, just the fact that it's closed, I think that has a negative perception because it's closed. It really wasn't a thing of it not being successful. It just was successful as long as it could be where it was at. And next time we do it, a lot like y'all see me in the ring, it'll be bigger and better.
How much are you starting to get embraced more being on this big stage? Because I think people overlook that when they see these fights and they see somebody like the Spencer Garcia and other big fights we got on the Wilder Furies and all that. How much is being on that stage multiple times make a big difference? Like, how are you now versus when you fought Kell Brook on that stage the first time? Like,
it's different. Yeah, it's different. You know, you even though I was a world champion, I still was kind of in that building process, you know. So I think that's the part about, at least definitely for me, that people expect that it's a part of my nature that it comes and it goes, and, I'll take it and I'll leave it. It doesn't bother me that I can go to any casino that I want to go to and I may get approached by one or two people, It doesn't bother me, but that's a part of something that's starting to happen now from being on Fox and being a part of everything that PBC has going on. I'm starting to get approached by not just one or two people when I go out now. Now it's starting to become a half dozen or more, and it's just fun. And it's nice to be able to touch the people that you inspire, for you to give them that moment to see you and tell you what they seen and what they like and get a picture and autograph. All of it, man, is really cool and fun. And especially the best part about it, man, if you really take a look at it, Deontay Wilder is technically my colleague. He's a world champion as well. Same with Mikey Garcia, and the same with
Abner Mares.
The list goes on. But to be able to be in the room with those guys and be able to be respected like those guys, it really is, man. It's a humbling feeling. It's a fun feeling, and it definitely does make everything I'm doing worthwhile.
Back to the fight. What are 3 reasons why your Dennis Ugas is going to be in for a long night come Saturday night at the Hell Sports Park in Carson, California?
What? Barry Hunter says he's banking on my work rate. I think that's number one or one. I think I'm really elusive. I think your Dennis needs a guy right in front of him in order to hit him. And I think that's me being elusive and moving a lot is gonna break up his rhythm. That's 2. And then I think he doesn't really recognize the kind of power that he's gonna be walking into. Your Dennis is a straight ahead fighter. He keeps his hands up and he blocks his punches. But what people don't realize is even though he's blocking punches, when I hit the glove hits him. So you're still gonna get some effect. And even if I don't hit his glove and I hit his arm, now your arm's taking some punishment, So you're not going to be 100% going into that second, that third, fourth round. So I think he's going to be walking into some things that he's not ready for. So I think those are probably the 3 main reasons why I'm going to win this fight.
You get a stoppage?
Hey, I said it. I said it, and I don't regret it, man. It's a part of the momentum right now, man. I'm coming into a part of my career now where, as decisive as I have to be in the ring, I have to be just as decisive outside of the ring. And when I look across from the guy and I can visualize what I can do to this guy, and I know what I can do to this guy, not just your Dennis, but anybody. I mean, take a look at my fight with Danny Garcia. I said I'm not leaving New York without this belt. And I did not leave New York without that belt. That's something you've never seen me do, So it's just a part of me understanding who I am and what I can do. Your Dennis is a guy that I feel like I can knock out. And technically it's a guy that I should knock out. Everybody's overlooking him. Everybody thinks he doesn't have what it takes. Obviously, he's going to come in there and put up a valiant effort. I'm not underestimating him at all. But at the same time, I do know that the qualities that I have and the things that I bring to the ring, I think it's going to be a short night.
Beautiful, man. Last time we had you on the show, you talked about, fighting at the Barclays, your previous 4 fights, like that's like a home to you. So how do you feel like, taking the show on the road, so to speak? Like you're going to be in a road game this time?
Hey, check it out, man. I'm going back to what's now called the Dignity Health Sports Park.
Yes.
And once was the StubHub Center.
Yes.
Where I lost my IBF title.
Yeah, I was going to get
where at that point in time, that was 2014, right?
Yep.
2014, that was my favorite venue, even though I hadn't even fought there yet. That was my favorite venue because at that point in time, there were a lot of big fights jumping off there. a lot of just exciting nights jumping off there. Yeah, and I wanted to be there and I wanted to do that. So it didn't happen with Kell Brooks. So now it's like, for me, it's like poetry. I got an opportunity to rewrite the things that I didn't do right, and so on and so forth. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It doesn't bother me at all that I'm not going to be at the Barclays for this fight.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, and that's also good to hear. Like, you don't have any, like, I guess, like, bad, like, omen of, like, fighting that.
Nah, man, I turn it all around, man. I don't believe in karma and jinxing and all that kind of stuff, man. Believe it or not, I couldn't believe it. My boys came over. I invited them when the Cavs won the championship. The year that they won the championship, I invited my boys over to watch the game, and it was the first game, and they lost. And they said, SP, we can't come watch. So they didn't come watch the next game, and they won. And so that became their thing. They were like, if we don't watch, they're going to win the championship. So every game that they watched, the Cavs lost. Every game that they didn't watch, the Cavs won. So going into Game 7, this is Game 7, and they're like, we can't watch it. SP. Just give us some updates. I couldn't believe it, but that's how much they believe in this kind of stuff. So I know, in the back of their minds, they got something. When they hit the Dignity Health Sports Park, they're gonna be in there thinking, because they were there that time when I lost the belt. They're gonna be thinking, this is where it happened. What's gonna happen this time? But I feel good, man. No problems at all.
That's awesome.
I know we definitely know you locked in on Ugas, but we Dallas boys. Will we see you the next week in Dallas?
Be there.
On a personal, I'll hit you up. We gotta do some bit. I owe you a lunch because you always show me love from day one. You one of the first people from day one that's always show me love. Hit me
every day the week after my fight, so that I don't forget to get with you. But if I can, I want to get in the studio if I can.
Oh shit,
that'll work. I'm up for it. We'll make it happen.
Because when you go to K. Johnson City, you do K. Johnson things.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
But yeah. I'll be there. Hopefully, I'll be working, doing some things for Fox, and obviously checking out a great fight, man. That fight gives me like, I just think that fight is gonna be
little Showtime.
Yeah, that's a little Showtime right there. I think that fight is just gonna be awesome, man. Beginning to end, I can't wait. Don't ask me to predict. I just want to be there and I want to see it go down.
Because you never had an Adrian Boner checker pass or nothing like that outside the cage. I mean, outside the ring.
Say that again?
I said you never had a checker pass or anything outside the ring. But how much that inspiration in your lap, how much does that add to do this and him to see you do it, especially with your mom, with your dad? So it's like three generations of Porters.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a lot of inspiration just to put it down the right way so that I can move forward and move according to the plan, So the plan is to look fabulous next weekend, and then do Dallas the weekend after that, and see how that fight plays out, and maybe say something afterwards.
I got you. That's awesome. Is he doing any shadow boxing yet? Yeah.
Nah, he's come to the gym with me a couple times. That's his mom right there. Nah.
Hey, don't put me on camera. Hold on.
I ain't gonna bust you out like that.
They trying to get you in trouble, Shawn.
Right.
He goes to the gym and he pushes on the bags.
That's funny.
And he was just watching me on TV. So I think he's starting to learn what's going on. I got a feeling he likes it.
That's dope, man.
Tell me this. And you just named basically your colleagues with Deontay and all them and the stable that is PBC. Do you feel that in a weird way with all these crazy fights from now until June with PBC and just all over boxing, even on the other side of the table with the Golden Boys and the top ranks, you think like you're setting the tone for the sport with this big fight? Because after now it's almost every weekend, at least 3 weekends out the month from March to June, there's a mega fight going on.
You're asking if I'm setting the tone?
Yeah, you set the tone with this.
Yeah. You mean if I'm setting the tone to get the rest of the year going into June? I think that well, you know what? It is what it is, man. I enjoy what I do when I get in there. I do all the hard work along the way, and it's just a part of my nature, man. A part of my nature is to be exciting and to make people scream. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to say that I'm not setting the tone because I know what I can do. You know, if the tone has not already been set from the Charlos kicking off Fox, PBC on Fox to what Gervonta Davis did not too long ago, and you know, the fights that have happened so far. Heck yeah, man! When I'm getting in the ring, and then it's gonna multiply, you know, into the following weekend with Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence, and then it's gonna go on from there.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Yeah,
and you know what? It's like I said, man. I'm not out here just for myself. You know, it is what it is, man. I'm not greedy. You know, I'm out here to get what I can get out of this, and at the same time, magnify the sport, magnify the athletes in this sport, and really show people that, you know, boxing has come a long way. It's changed. We're classier than we've ever been. And it's time for us to get rid of that bad boy status that we've had forever. And you know, if anything, that starts with me.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I mean, after this fight, obviously you don't want to look too far ahead of things, but do you have a number of fights you want to have this year? Is it 2, 3? Like, you have a particular number that you're trying to achieve in 2019?
We're looking at 3, including this one. So we're looking at getting into the ring hopefully twice more. Man, it will be a blessing for this fight to go the way I need it to go. Come out unscathed and healthy and looking good like I always do, and then just move forward from there, man. It's you know, it's not easy doing what I do. It's not easy doing what we do, and you know, for those reasons alone, we can't look past anything that we do. You know, but in the beautiful world, you know, 3 times this year, crazy world, 4 times this year.
Yeah.
I have to ask you the question. Do you think you see Errol Spence before December 2019? Do you see him this year?
I think so. I'm not sure. I think so. I think, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. A lot like when Danny Garcia fought. I was the one in attendance. I had first dibs after that fight with Brandon Rios. I know it's gonna be some other guys there as well, but I'll probably be the closest to the ring.
Do you think Keith's gonna be here?
Huh?
Who are you think for being? So are we gonna see the whole stable? Because my guy, I keep telling him how boxing is a free for all on fight night. It gets crazy.
You'll more than likely see the whole stable, all the welterweights.
Okay.
And hey, let's be real. I don't think nobody gonna be in there. I don't think we gonna be pushing each other getting in the ring. I think I'm gonna have peace getting into the ring.
Okay. I mean, I would expect nothing less being in the Jerry world, being on this huge atmosphere. Like, I would expect something to go
this
down.
my disclaimer right now. I wouldn't do it just for the publicity. That's my disclaimer.
Okay.
I would not do that just for the publicity.
Okay.
I would not do that just to be seen. That ain't my style. I rather work and leave, go home.
That's your mentality, but some of these other brothers might have something different up there on their mind, right?
Very true. So I don't think that's gonna happen though.
Okay.
If it does happen, that's what I decide to do, and I get the nod to do it. I don't think anyone else is gonna say, "Oh, you going up there? Go ahead, you got it." I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be anybody else, you know, waiting at the steps to go up.
Yeah. It's gonna be a hell of a night for sure.
I think so, man. I think so.
Yeah, but of course, obviously, more important things are on your plate first. Obviously, coming up on the 9th against Ugas. Man, I can't wait to watch this fight, man. Me and Kendrick, of course, will be tuning in. We wish we could be there, but we can't. But, you know, we're glad we had the opportunity to talk to you beforehand and get all your thoughts about this matchup. And, of course, we'll see you here in Dallas after the fact as well. So, thanks for coming back on the show, man. It was always a good time talking to you.
You got it.
See you next week, man. Really, I got really pumped to see you get this W, but I'm really pumped to see you in person.
Yeah. Got you. Not a thing, man. Always, when I see you, it's all love. So
please welcome back to the Slip and Dip podcast. We got 2 guests in one screen this time.
First time
Justin
ever.
Buchholz and Cynthia Calvillo. Thanks for coming back on the show, guys. We greatly appreciate it. How's it going over there?
Good. How are you guys doing? How you doing, Matt? How you doing, Kendrick?
Doing fantastic, man. Doing fantastic. So, obviously, let's kick it off with what we just witnessed last night. There was a lot of craziness in the world of, like everything. We had the and new, obviously, the and still, and the whole lot of craziness with judges and referees and knockouts. And I'll just ask you straight off the top, what was the most impactful thing for you coming out of last night?
Cynthia? All right, I'll go. Yeah. For me, it was Lawler and Askren. Holy cow, that was insane. That 4 minutes and whatever it was some of the most intense fighting I've ever seen. That was like Lawler of old. And the amount of damage that Ben Askren, like, here's the deal. People want to, after that beating Ben Askren took, the division is more afraid of him after that fight because he took Lawler down after that punishment. It was completely incredible from Lawler, from Askren. The controversy at the end, I mean, Dana said he's already going to rematch him, so we're going to see that again. But it doesn't seem like Askren really wants it. But I don't know if Lawler wants it. I mean, after he unloaded the kitchen sink, how is he going to have a better start in another fight with Askren than that? You know what I mean? So it's interesting. That was crazy, and Lawler's debut lived up to the hype, in my opinion, even with the controversy and whatnot. And, I mean, it was a one-sided beating. He didn't throw a punch, but people say Askren, he fought in ONE FC 3 times and made almost $1 million and didn't get a punch landed on him. Yeah. But Lawler made up for all that in about 4 minutes. So welcome to the
the most punches he's gotten in his whole career put together, for sure.
Yeah, that was the craziest part. It's like, okay, we get you to the UFC. Let's see if you can hang. No, we get you in the UFC and you get busted open in 30 seconds. Like, that was so crazy to me. And, of course, surviving that onslaught shows a lot about, like, his resilience and stuff like that we really hadn't seen tested before, So yeah. I guess that was a lot of the stuff that we learned from Ben Askren in those few moments. But
pro wrestling beats collegiate wrestling. Angle slam, Robbie.
That was so sick. Robbie,
that was big out of pro wrestling.
That was an FU. That was John Cena. That was the FU. That was the angle slam. The FU.
I was thinking ankle slam, but I hear you.
Hey, whatever it was, whatever you want to call it, it was crazy.
Cynthia, did you take? A lot of people got you linked up, and they want to see you and Miss Wiley Zhang. Did you take a personal interest? I know that's in your weight class. A lot of people will think that y'all should fight next. I seen on 2 different websites, like they like what's next for Zhang, and that your name was linked to her. And people want to see that.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's another great fighter. Like, she's a real fighter. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed her fight last night. I think Tisha Torres was her first, like, real test as far as her being, a top contender, because she did fight Jessica Aguilar. She fought other tough. She fought, I forgot, Danielle Taylor, I believe.
Danielle Taylor, very tough. Jessica Aguilar, black belt, who she submitted.
Yeah, so she had very dominant and very impressive performances. So, I think Tisha was definitely a test for her, and she proved that she's definitely top contender. So I can see that. Because, I'm trying to prove myself too, and I feel like I've been showing that my last fight. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to that. We'll see what's up next. Like I said, I want to Tana Cyrus, but we'll see what happens.
What do you do to get prepared to go into deep waters? Because it seems like every time you go in deeper water than you've been in, you see the shine even brighter. So what's the little secret that y'all got going on over there?
You train out of bad positions, so you always want to push you and learn how to, live in hell. So it's like, if you know how to stay composed and fight through it, then, it's always, offensive, defensive. So, like, having good defense and making sure that you get good offense right after. So, just stay real focused and having an answer for everything.
And for her just to be on the grind 24/7, I mean, deep water for her is it's shallow water to her where other people will drown. You know what I'm saying? I mean, weekly she's climbing 10,000-foot peaks in Tahoe, going into that's 9 mountains. 9 weeks out to 10,000 feet. That's altitude training. That's endurance going up there. It's cold weather exposure because there's 30 foot of snow up there right now, and that stuff pays off. That's real deal conditioning.
Yeah, mentally it just helps out a lot. So that was something I was able to implement my last camps is, do elevation training because Lake Tahoe is like right here, like an hour away. So we try to incorporate that. Plus the swimming too. My coach, Scott Morrison, he's an incredible swimming coach. He trains some of the, some of the heroes of our nation. We got like Navy SEALs and rescue paramedics, and pretty insane. That I feel honestly, I feel really blessed and grateful and honored to be able to swim and train next to those people. But he's done an incredible job. I feel like every athlete, or even swimmers interested, they want to go swim, and this is some different type of swimming. I'm telling you, it's going to break you. I don't know anybody else, honestly, any other fighter on my team that's actually kept up with it because it's so hard. And I've been consistent for the last year and a half. Everybody else has probably done once or twice. And,
I'll put her in the pool against after watching that countdown show against Jon Jones. You know what I mean? Right? Jon Jones does it, and I want to see him race. Cynthia will be in there with him. She's a friend.
Here's a two-part question, Cynthia. One, when will you think we'll see you back in the cage, and what do you give yourself grade your last performance? What'd you grade yourself? I give you a B+.
Come on, a B+. That was number 9. She's taking those. Come on, man. Clean, effective punching, ring generalship. She won all the grappling exchanges. She won all the striking exchanges. She did take damage, but she modified her game plan and overcame that. I mean, I agree.
I think it is not my best performance. I don't think it's an A+ performance. Definitely, you always want to get the finish, not make the decision. But as an athlete that is growing and trying to develop, I think that it was a good fight. She was a perfect opponent for me to get more comfortable on my stand-up. I knew that I was better there, like anywhere. I felt like I could take her down whenever, if she gave me the openings. I usually don't try to force any of them. They usually give them to me. And almost came close in the first round, but I let her get up. I didn't capitalize on that. And then, honestly, the first 20 seconds of the second round is when she actually hurt me. She hurt my leg right away, and that did compromise me and my feet and stepping on my punches to go for a takedown. So I tried my best to hide it. I was limping after the second round was over. The third, I couldn't even walk after the fight was over. I walked out, but in the back, I was piggyback ride. I was doing interviews and all here to there, and so I was definitely concerned because sometimes you just fight with instinct and heart, and so lucky for me, I got an MRI, and so everything's okay. But she jacked me up pretty good, so I feel, considering that the adversity I had to face, I feel like I did a good job. You always want to get the finish, because I hate when people talk about the fight. In my opinion, I think you can agree. I think anybody who knows fighting would say that I won at least the 2 first rounds. And some people try to say otherwise. So I'm I don't know how that's. So that's the only reason about when it comes to decisions. If you get the finish, nobody can say anything. Nothing. You never know what people see. Their view. But I'm glad the judges got it right.
And for the fight, for Cynthia to overcome adversity like that, I mean, that was, as a coach, that's what you're looking for from a fighter is when things go wrong, when an injury does happen, what happens? If your leg is hurt, you come in there with your hands out and charge and possibly get knocked out. No, you have to protect that leg. You have to be smart. You have to go. If you have to go the distance, go the distance. Like Muhammad Ali said, I'll dance, look pretty, and win by decision. If the knockouts and stuff come, great. That's what we're going for. That's what we're training for. But once your leg is compromised, you have to adapt and overcome, and she did that perfectly. You got to remember, too, Casey was a professional soccer player. You know what I mean? This, she got in the ring, and I was damn. This chick's huge, Cynthia, be careful. You know what I mean? She's big, man. She's big, she was tough. And she got a full camp. Her other performances, she never had a full camp, and we knew that. She had 12-plus weeks, 10 weeks something to prepare for Cynthia. She took it seriously. She knew what was on the line, and that was one of the best Courtney Casey's that I've seen get in the ring.
So when I first started fighting, I was my amateur career. I knew who Courtney Casey was. We were both coming up around the same time. She actually got a pretty good record as an amateur. I think one of her only losses was the same one only loss I got as an amateur. So I always knew she was tough. We always knew of each other, I believe, and people would look at her record 8-6, and even coming into the fight where people were she was the underdog and stuff like that, and just me being looking at her record and mine, but she was really tough. All the fights she's ever taken were last minute, and she was down to fight whoever, whenever, you know. And I just knew that was going to be the best corner Casey, and a lot of people might have been counting her out, but I know it was going to be a tough fight.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, was she like? It seems like lately in some of her fights, like it seems like she's trying to like get her opponents riled up a little bit. I know she like started saying something at the weigh-ins when y'all were facing off. Like, was she saying stuff to you during the fight as well to try to take you off your game a little bit?
That's a no-no. You don't mess with Miss Calvillo on that scale, boy.
You see her cut weight.
No, she. So during you know, in the back, she didn't really like say too much, but she kept saying how I have like this Diaz persona and that I like to talk a lot of shit, which it's funny because you'll never find me saying anything bad about any of my opponents, but they have like this feeling that I'm just like dogging down on them or something. And so she you know, she kept saying, you know, I would be a Diaz, that I'm the Diaz brothers, blah, 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 and, you know, that I'm going to eat my words. So she tried to on the face-off, because for me, whatever, you know, I have a regular face-off. I'm not going to back down. I give them a smirk, and as soon as I smile, they're like, I don't know, we'll get it, you know, we'll get into it. So she came up, she put her hands down, and she got close to like my face and like touched her chin like onto my hands. Yeah. And you know, just try to like impose to try to like make me feel scared based on like how big she was. And I was like, feel that touch, baby, because you're going to feel it all night tomorrow night.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. She's going to like, try to touch me. And then I'm like, I don't think so.
That's when Cynthia did wax off. And just, you know what I mean? That was awesome. It was a good face off.
How do you have that gangster switch? Is that part of being a professional fighter? Because you're one of the nicest people in the cage. I do a lot of sports outside of MMA and boxing, and you're one of the nicest athletes. But it's like, how do you know how to get that kill switch? Like, I was watching one of your fights. I think your fight against Pearl. I was at my parents' house. My mom said, "This your friend?" You said, "That's nice." She like she about to kill somebody because you like got the look, got the swole look when you come in. Is that just part of you getting to a fighter? You just know when it's clicking on and off.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's just I'm a very competitive person, and I truly respect, you know, martial arts, and, you know, going in there believing and thinking, you know, you have to be a warrior. And, you know, and my mentality is, you know, with it or on it. You know, you go in there with your shield, you know, you come out or, you know, with it or on it, you know. And, yeah, I feel like that's just the way fighting is. I love everything about it. It's just like so pure, you and another person. But, yeah, definitely channel it in there. I don't know. I do that in training. I visualize all the time. Anytime I do my sparring rounds and stuff, I visualize myself being in that fight every single time. Like, I'll make my partner go stand in the corner. I'm like, come on, you know, here comes the bell, being ready, working on my mentality in between rounds, you know, how I'm breathing. And, you know, I think it's very important to do that and to constantly put yourself in that position. And so I feel like when I'm in there, you know, it just comes out naturally because I've seen it and practiced it so many times, and, you know, it's my favorite place. You know, that's where I do my best.
And this is kind of for both of y'all. From somebody's getting their hands raised in Cynthia to somebody not getting their hand raised that y'all know very well, Mr. Garbrandt. I want to know Justice takes, as you have intimate details. But Cynthia, does it trip you out? Remember when we were in New York when you did? We both got to meet Colby. Y'all surprised I do Colby on a first name basis, but y'all up on the stage, and it seemed like y'all careers since that little week. How you went boom, and he's like suddenly went boom. That trip you out for somebody that knows him better than we know him. Like, that was kind of like a crossroads, but not in a good way for Mr. Garbrandt.
No, I mean, honestly, I feel like every fighter has their own journey. You know, it just happens to be the way that it is right now. You know, he's in the position that he is, and he's, you know, it is in his point of career where he's at, and I'm where I'm at, because we've all dealt with different things. You know, I sat there before, you know, when Cody I was at Team Alpha before Cody got there, you know what I mean? And, you know, he was already a professional, but I was injured. I sat out. I saw a lot of people come in and out of there and, you know, make their careers get picked up. I saw Paige get picked up, and, you know, everybody kind of taken off, you know? And so it you know, it is what it is. It's funny because now Paige is, you know, she broke her arm, and now she refractured her arm again, you know, and that's the kind of stuff I had to deal with before. I had to deal with all the adversity before I even started my pro career. So, It's unfortunate, it sucks that Cody's in that spot right now, and, for me, I'm barely, coming out from facing my own adversity, with my suspension and missing weight and, even my last fight too. I was like, fuck, it was a decision, but it was an amazing learning lesson. I made weight and I won, but, yeah, as far as Cody, I don't really try to compare too much on anything. I really do believe everybody's got their own, lessons and journeys and point in life. I'm not sure what happened there, this past night against Pedro Munoz, but, hopefully he learns a lot from it and he can come back again because he's got a lot of potential. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Justin, what did you think about how that all went down last night?
Man, so that fight, I mean, from the moment that fight was signed, I thought that was just a kind of a bad move for a comeback fight. I mean, I know Pedro Munoz, I met Munoz maybe 6-7 years ago when he was fighting for the RFA championship. I mean, this guy's been a killer for a long time. He's been around. He's good at everything. That was when Lance Palmer was the featherweight champion at RFA. I was cornering him. And, I've known Munoz for a long time. And for Cody to just lose the title shot to fight number 9 didn't make much sense to me. I figured he should have stayed in the top 5 because if you don't have a good performance against someone that far ranked down, when you're number 2, it's just kind of it can be a lose-lose situation. He has to go rip Pedro Munoz's head off or everyone's going to write he's washed up. And, a catastrophic situation ended up happening where he got KO'd. But, you can look at any comments online or anything. They share the same opinion. At one point, Cody was chasing him with his right hand balled up, like he's gonna hit him with that. When Cody, if you looked at his performance versus Dominic Cruz, that seemed like a lifetime ago. But that was one of the greatest martial arts performances ever in the sport. 25 minutes. I mean, Cody's record right now, the only fighters that he has fought in the top 10 are Pedro Munoz was number 9, TJ Dillashaw, and the greatest 135-pounder to ever do it, Dominic Cruz. The guy was on a 14-year win streak. Over a decade undefeated, never lost at the weight, and Cody went in there without a win over a top 10 guy in 1 calendar year, being unranked, and dethroned him. But not only dethroned him, put on a masterclass. And I'm saying masterclass, that's Sean Shelby's words, not mine. Like at the after party, Sean Shelby was just standing in the corner saying, Buchholz, that was a masterclass. That was a masterclass. That was a master. That's all he said. I was like, Sean, I know, I was there. That was the plan. That was the plan. And it's been 3 fights with the same result, And if you look up the definition of insanity, it's just, a kid that can move with that kind of talent, man. It's just, it is what it is. Like,
do you think
it's a shame?
Do you think it's like a mental thing at this point? Because I was thinking, like, coming in, I was like, okay, we got 2 fighters on the main card, him and Tisha Torres, that have 2 fight losing streaks. And I was like, strong possibility they both might walk away with 3. And it's like, I think, like, maybe it's like a mental thing, because like you were saying in that Dominic Cruz fight, he was on like a whole nother level. Like he was in there breakdancing, like every time he dodged punches and shit. Like, it's like you don't see that ever. And now it's like, it seemed like, to me, like when the fight was playing out, it seemed like after that headbutt or whatever, it seemed like he just got up and was like, screw everything. I'm going to try to end this fight right now. And it's like,
you gotta. So I hear that the mentality, but the mentality of a fighter comes from coaching. It comes from the correct coaching. The stuff that a fighter does, the decisions a fighter makes in the fight, that's from the training. So you fight like you train. You fight like you train, like you spar. Your thoughts are what has been conditioned into you over 8 weeks, 12 weeks, over a lifetime of martial arts. I mean, I know exactly what Cody was doing for Dominic Cruz. I trained him. I was his head coach. I ran the program. I know exactly what he's doing. I know this. I'm not in the gym anymore. I don't train Cody anymore. I know he was not doing that. I know he wasn't doing anywhere near that. I know how much he was moving his feet. I know how many mid sessions he was doing. I know how many practices he was doing. I know exactly. I mean, I have it written down for that year of 2016, Cody's mediocre rise, from unranked to world champion to dethroning the best. And I know, I kind of have an idea of what he's doing now, and it's just not the same, and the results speak for themselves. I mean, you look at a guy's training protocol, the program of his gym, his coaches, he's changed every fight since Cruz. So It's hard to stick with those results. If you want to stick with those results, you got to do what worked, what you know worked, and that stuff's not being done.
Do you think it's the last we see them as a title contender? Because once you get knocked out once, it's kind of hard to recover. But that's 3 times in a year and a half. Regardless of who you are, that's not a good look.
Well, that it says exactly it. I mean, that's a major point. And that's the people close to Cody now. I mean, you can't keep sending the guy out there and coming back with that kind of damage, because TJ hit him with like a 23 punch combination. It was equivalent to a damn car accident. You know what I mean? And after a car accident, you don't come out of there and have someone say, "Oh man, don't worry about it. Shake that off. Have a good mentality." No, that's damage that will stay with you the rest of your life. You know what I mean? We are organisms. We only have one brain, and it's frustrating as all hell to me when someone's career, the way they make money, they could be the greatest of all time, retire undefeated 2-division champ. And then they make these decisions and their health is on the line and no one's saying anything about it. And they just say, "Oh, be positive. You win, you lose, shake it off." Like, take that stuff and shove it up your ass. You are taking serious damage. It's a serious thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people don't look at it like that. They just, you only got one body, you only got one brain. And you have to protect your health. That person is not only taking money out your kid's mouth, he's going after your cognitive health as an adult, So, yeah. I don't know. I get fired up talking about that stuff.
No, I mean, it's all valid. It's all true. I mean, like, Cynthia, like, when you're watching, like, a guy that like, out there, like, take that damage fight after fight after fight, like, how much do you think of, like, your own career, like, in that moment? Like, are you thinking of, like, man, I can't ever put myself in these types of situations?
Well, I mean, I think stylistically, we're just 2 different types of fighters. So, I mean, I do pay attention to a lot of the people that are coming up, like, especially me being there at the gym and watching everybody before me. So, I'm appreciative to be there and see, what it is to get into the UFC and have a startup and, lose and come back up. I've seen it, time and time, they've all kind of faced adversity. So, we fight different. I don't know, I'm not really in the position where, he likes to stand there and bang and somebody's going to get knocked out, and right. I feel like I always try to look for the submissions, but I'm not going to stand there and, just take a bunch of damage for no reason. So, I don't know. It's just different. I just try to be smart and really look at this career. I want to be like the GSP, and really fight smart and be one of the best in the world. I want to just get my, lose my brain cells just so entertainment of people. Like, I still want to be entertaining. I still want to be a people's champ. But I want to do it the right way, and still be able to do great things after I'm done with my career. But, it's hard seeing Cody go through that. But
so I guess let me ask it this way. So, like, has there been a moment, like, in a fight that you've had so far, whether it be in the UFC or before, where you've had that moment to where you're like, I just want to throw the game plan out of the window and just try to win this right now? Like, have you had that moment in your career?
Actually, I think in every fight, like, I make little different advances, but like for a long time, it's very hard to hear my corner, and I was just kind of do what I do, and then I would hear my other people's corner, but no, I don't. Maybe in the Carla fight, I was a little frustrated. I was still following my game plan, but it's more headhunting, and I didn't make the adjustments. I'm not really sure if I was even listening to what my corner was telling me. Honestly, I wanted to just knock her out because I really felt like that's what I could do based on how I was training. So I guess that was the one time, and it was a learning lesson. But it was a good time in my career because it's a good hiccup there. I learned a lot from it.
Do you want that rematch before your career's over with?
If she's in the way, if she's there on my way to get the title, then yeah. Or later on, they want to pay me some money to fight her. Yeah, but I really don't. I don't feel like anybody's gonna go look at that fight and be like, "Damn, Carla Esparza will whoop your ass. Don't you want to fucking get it back?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I was like, "Fuck, she put a shot," like, I was really frustrated. But no, like, I feel like looking back at that fight, I lost that fight because I didn't make the adjustments. It was more myself, not because she was a better fighter than me. If she's in the way, she climbs her way back up. If she's in the way of me trying to get that belt, then yeah, I'll fight her. But I'm not really scared about that. Like I said, I don't think she did anything crazy.
Okay. I mean, Cynthia, she's taken out 2 top contenders in the last 3 months. Since she got back from her time off. That's 2 wins against 2 solid opponents. You know, she should be matched against the Tatianas, the Claudia Gaudellas, these kind of fights. And it should be 5 rounds. Even the Chinese girl, you know, throw her in there too. She's good. But let's put it as a co-main event, main event, and let's do 5 rounds, and let's have the winner of that fight for the belt next. You know what I mean? Let's see. I mean, this is the age of feminism and strong women empowerment. Let's have 2 ladies on these ESPN cards for a 5-round fight. You know, Tatiana versus Cynthia, man, there can only be one. And let's see a finish. We don't want to see no one trying to hold someone down for 3 rounds. Let's go 5 rounds. Let's have a finish. You know, see who the real #1 contender is. You know,
why people?
I like how the division's going right now. I feel like we got a lot of new blood, great contenders, like breaking into the top 10, Tatiana, Wailing. You know, it's because like before, for a while, for the first 2 years that the strawweight division was there, it was always the same girls in the top 15, you know? So it's amazing, you know. I'm in there, Tatiana's there, Wailing in there. We got a lot of girls coming in up, and it's some solid, like, I'm for sure it's the best, I mean, in my opinion, you know, weight class for women's UFC for sure. And the
name we're mentioning, that's with all due respect. You know, people are so they get offended, they're outraged before anything's even said. The fact that someone wants to fight you, it should be a compliment to you. We're not calling out these turds. We're calling out the best fighters. You know what I mean? If your name's in there, the Chinese girl, Tatiana Suarez, or Claudia, then you know, respect to you.
Why are y'all calling Tatiana? Why a lot of people in the division, they are very intimidated by her ground game? It's kind of like she's a female Damian Maia, and nobody saw that puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like nobody's confident enough to face her. I mean, I had my eyes set on her from the time that she won the Ultimate Fighter. I knew she was injured, had to sit out, you know, had to watch everybody else. I came in, you know, got attention, and, you know, and then I dealt with what I had to deal with, and now she came back, and, you know, she's one of the best in the division. I don't see anybody else that can deal with her. I'm not here to take any easy fights. I want to fight the best in the world. My goal is every time I see that you're being called one of the best and you're the next best thing, I want to crack at you. You know, I'm not trying to run the other way, and that's just the way it goes. So if you're going to ask me, I want to fight the best in the world so I can be considered the best in the world. I'm not trying to pick the easy fights. I'm not trying to whatever. So I call her respectively because I think she's the next best thing. And Wailing, you know, she's on there too, but I just feel because Tatiana Suarez has some very dominant wrestling, you know, that nobody's been able to deal with. I feel like she's the most dangerous person in the division, but I feel like I'm that person that can definitely deal with it.
Ooh, I can't wait to see that fight. I hope it happens, and I hope it happens like real soon too, because
I hope so. I know she knows it's a bad fight for her, you know, because it's not probably a good idea to fight me based on, you know, my rank. You know, I'm number 10 right now, and she's number 3. So, yeah, it sucks. I probably could have got the opportunity, but I can't do. Yeah, it's they're not going to give it to me. That's for damn sure. Not right now.
Well, hopefully, I'm shooting for a June 8th date. We'll see what happens. They might have booked Tatiana with someone else, but who wants to see Tatiana versus anybody? The fight that will get the fans talking. That's what this is about. At the end of the day, is Calvillo versus Suarez. I mean, everyone knows that. That's the fight to show up to. You know what I mean? But if we can't get Suarez, we'll take Gaudella. If we can't get Gaudella, we'll take what's it?
Wait, is that how you say it?
Wailing Zhang.
Yeah, Wailing.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. No, I'm excited for that. I'm just excited to see you get back in there soon. So, you know, all your fights are exciting to me, like, because I do believe you're one of the best in the division, and it's always exciting to see the best fighters fight. Like, I mean, that's just what it is, plain and simple. So,
no, I appreciate that. I think, like I said, my last fight, I always want to get the finish, but I feel like it's a big learning lesson. I think, you know, people can take it for what it is, but, you know, it's helping me become a better fighter, so I could have better performances for everybody later on, you know, and I feel like I grew a lot from that, from that fight, and, you know, it gets me closer, and I feel like, like I said, every fight is different, so stylistically, you know, you might have a different type of fight, but, you know, it was a good fight.
Are we gonna see you? I know you have your little your crunkness when you come out. Are we gonna have you do the Kamaru last night? He come with that little strut, like he looked like a champ when he came out. I like seeing that from a challenger. I know you have a challenger mindset, but do you have some champion dance move? He was coming out. He took his time. Justin know what I'm talking about. It's not necessarily the dancing. It's the fact that he took his time. Like, I'm the champ. You waiting on me. I ain't waiting on you. He was no care in the world. Because I don't understand why people come running out and stuff. Why do you do that? You about to fight 25, 15 minutes. Like DC. I don't know how he do that craziness.
Yeah.
I'm about to go to war for 25 minutes, but let me go run this little mini marathon right quick before I start. It's just like, I'm not a fighter. I just don't think that makes any sense. I think you want to preserve that energy.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I feel like we're going to find out what my championship celebration is once I get that belt, but we'll see. I know it's going to, I try to envision what the feeling's going to be like, but I know it's going to be something indescribable, that's for damn sure. But I know it's going to come, you know, that's been my goal for a long time, and I always see it. So, I mean, whatever I got to go through to get it, you know, but it's going to happen, that's for sure.
Beautiful.
I feel Usman, a lot of his swag was, you know, you can give that right to the coach. Henry Hooft is like such a strong figure in his life, and even in between, I really enjoyed that fight. Some people didn't think it was the most exciting fight, but look, man, if you're manhandling my boy T Wood, yes. I'm just in shock seeing here. This is crazy to me, and he manhandled him. You know what I mean? It was crazy. I honestly felt like T Woods working with Ben Askren was kind of detrimental to that fight because he was so ready for a takedown, so ready to sprawl, but he would not let his hands go. And I feel like that's him sparring with Askren. You know, just fighting out the takedown because Askren throwing punches like this, and T Wood could probably get him pretty good in sparring. So he's focused so much on stopping that takedown. You saw how quick he got to Lawler. So I felt like that kind of threw off his game plan for Usman because Usman was coming in with the strikes, and that's Henry Hooft again, you know, the great kickboxer. I really enjoyed that fight, watching the corners. Henry Hooft telling Kamaru to, when he came out, he said, "Look strong, look at him strong." I think going to the third round, look at him strong. That can change a fight, man. A fighter comes out with that bad posture, or you look, and Usman got down low and started like moving his feet, and I was like, damn, man, he wants it. And T Wood had a little bit of blood coming out of his nose and looked kind of gassed, and I was like, damn, going into this third round, it don't look like it's going to get better for T Wood. But I really enjoyed the corner work of that fight. It had the great Duke Rufus in T Wood's corner, and Din Thomas, yes. And then Henry Hooft on the other side. And the fighter, what they were saying to their fighters from Duke Rufus, being in there in the fifth round saying, "I'm not going to bullshit you. You got to knock him out here. You got to finish him." You know, I love that. I thought that was high drama in Vegas, and it was a great fight.
Do you think Father Tom
50% this time?
Yeah.
He's 30. This time you're going to have to go 32. No, he didn't.
Do you think Father Tom knocked on T Wood's shoulder? Just, I'm not gonna say he needs to not retire and all that, but as far as him being an elite championship fighter, fighting guys 4 and 5 years younger than him, I think them days are over with. When have you ever seen that happen to him? Because me and Matt always have a little gauge. Like when you see, like in women's MMA, it seems like unless a lady like Cynthia, you started so late, but like people that started in their early 20s. Or they did something athletically like Ronda with the judo, Cyborg fighting, the early 30s is when it comes in. And for guys it's between 36 and 38, you see something that you never seen happen to them before, and it always magically happens in that age bracket. I call it Father Time. Matt don't believe in that.
I'm undecided. I'm undecided yet.
And I'm not saying you're old, Cynthia, because I know fight terms you're young, but some people that start early, like somebody like Rose, when she gets to be your age, she won't be the same as you are right now because she's been fighting since she's like 20. That's just natural. So I want you to get mad at me, Cynthia. She's always trying to drop me at LFA. I'll fight you for that.
No, I want to do that. I feel good. I think I try to actually like tell people, like, you know, for me it's actually a thing I try to tell people. You know, I started late, and so, you know, I always tell people it's never too late to start anything. So it is what it is, you know. Like I don't care because I feel just as good, like, you know, as I did when I was in my 20s. Except, you know, I'm a little bit smarter now.
Smarter, stronger, faster, you know, all that. So.
No, I feel good. I mean, I feel lucky enough that I didn't take all that damage. So if anything, you know, it's an advantage for me. For everybody else that did start late and had to go through all that, I was lucky enough and blessed based on the work that I put in that I was able to advance so fast in my career once I went pro, you know, because sometimes it takes a couple years to even try to crack, you know, to be within number 10 and ranked number 10 in the world. That was insane. You know, I was 6 months and or 9 months is, and a professional, I was ranked number 6 in the world. That was fucking crazy, you know what I mean? And so
we got about 10 months left in this year, so see what she can put together and what we can do before this year's over. It's going to be interesting. But to go back on what you guys said about Father Time being undefeated, I got to go to Emmanuel Stewart, the greatest coach in combat sports history, much less boxing history. You know, I don't know, 100 world champions or something like this. But he said the same thing. He said about a fighter. You know, a fighter is like a car. You can only put so many miles on the car. And when fighters would come into the pro ranks with 200 amateur fights, he would say sometimes that's detrimental to the longevity of a fighter's career in the pros. It's great to have that experience, but, you know, like a car's only going to run so long before it burns out. And T. Wood competing at that level, I mean, he's 36, man, and you know, the thing, you know, we got to see him come back because we can't judge until then. I mean, Usman did the momentum was with him, man. And the way he was walking around, like you said, that swagger, that's important. And he had it from the start. And, and that's a tough man to beat with the right team he has behind him and how focused he is, you know, what he was fighting for. That's a tough guy to beat. But like I said, I've never seen T. Wood manhandled like that. So, you know, once that happens to a fighter, like you have that Mike Tyson persona, like I thought Woodley did everything better. He kept telling me that in all the countdown shows. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, you're a better striker. You're a better wrestler. And then Usman was doing everything better. So, yeah, you know, he sometimes fighters get old overnight, but I wouldn't write him off at all yet. I'd let him come back and improve himself.
I think Usman's just he's stylistically his style of fighting. You know what I mean? It makes you a really tough opponent to fight against. I don't think T. Woodley took any damage in there. He was just it was manhandled. Or was he like fucking beat up? Like I'm gonna get knocked out, finished. You know, whoop my ass? No. Like, you know, T. Woodley he's not because that happened to him. That doesn't take anything away from the great fighter that he is. Personally, I think that he's a tough ass fighter. No matter who he faces, I don't think his time is done yet by any means, in my opinion.
Oh no, I'm not saying he needs to retire. I'm just saying him fighting at that level, he's not gonna turn to Zach Light overnight.
No, I think he definitely still belongs on that top level. But I mean, because there's some fighters that are like that. You know, you'll just see him go downhill. You know, or like somebody Buchholz. I mean, it's unfortunate to say his name, but that's something that's going on with him. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
But T. Wood, I don't know about the dominance. Like you said,
you did it, Buchholz. You did that.
You started.
I don't know if T. Wood had that dominance, that stranglehold on the division like he did, like that same persona. I don't know if that's going to be around anymore after that, dropping 5 rounds like that, you know?
Yeah, I think it was kind of crazy because, like we said, you saw Usman coming out with the swag, and for me, like, I felt like Tyron came out looking the exact opposite. So I was like, you know how they like sometimes it's like when Bruce Buffer's calling their name, like you can tell like who's ready. Sometimes like I felt like Tyron. I was sitting there and I was like, Tyron doesn't look right. Like something looks off. But because I was literally right across the cage from him when he fought Darren Till here in Dallas. I was like, he looks like he's about to fuck Darren Till up. Like, and that's exactly what happened. And like I didn't get that same vibe at all. Like this time, and it was just like, man, I just had a bad feeling that was going to happen, and unfortunately it did. But yeah, I'm interested by Kendrick's theory on the Father Time thing. I just need more evidence. I need more evidence.
Yeah, the sport is still young.
Yeah, it's still young.
And then you got outliers like our girl Cynthia. She's an outlier.
Yeah, yeah, like. Fighter last night, Diego Sanchez. Like, how does Diego Sanchez still go out there and get wins? I guess he's not fighting championship level guys, but he's still going out there and having great performances. You know, so maybe that's the thing. No. Maybe when you get older, you know, don't fight the top of the heap. I don't know.
It's a young man's game.
I don't know, dude. Every person's different because, like, you see Diego Sanchez in his fights, and you think that he'd have been done a long time ago. Yeah. You know what I mean? The way that he had, like, you're like, holy shit, how's this guy still going? You know, and looking the way that he does now, that the way he showed up is, you know, last night, you're like, shit, you know, like, what the hell? So every you know, you never know, you know. If you try to put two and two together, you probably think that, like, okay, yeah, Sanchez should not be fighting at all, but, like, look what he's doing, you know? So, yeah, you know, who knows, you know?
You know, Diego says he's in the anti-aging business, and I got to say he's going to be really good at doing that on account of he took years off Mickey Gall's life with that beating, you know what I'm saying?
That's so true. That's so true. I'm interested to see, like, Because he was like, I'm getting in the anti-aging game. I'm like, what does that game consist of? I need to know more. Like, what's in that game? Like, is it creams? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I need more. I need to ask him. We need to get him on the show and figure that out. But yeah,
for sure. He's into that mountain energy, man. I'm into this. I think that stuff is powerful. I think you can train with a hose hooked up to your mouth in a gym, all stinky, or you can climb Pyramid Peak, which is one of the tallest mountain, or is the tallest mountain in the Desolation Wilderness above Tahoe, you know? And Lake Tahoe is 6,000 feet. Like, go up there and train like that is a big difference from going to some lab in the Bay Area and putting one of those masks on and riding a bike, you know?
I mean, you think about it, you see all these memes and quotes and metaphors about climbing, like, peaks and mountains. Why don't you go outside and actually fucking do that shit? And that's what we do every week. We literally go and fucking climb a goddamn fucking mountain. Like, yeah, we did it. You know, this ain't no fucking quote. I didn't, like, you know, did a workout at the highest peak and blah, blah. Nah, bitch, I fucking did
it. And that's the gangster we know and love coming out.
God damn it. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. So we can do all these simulations and the shit. We got the real mountain right there.
Yeah, no, for reals. I mean, that's why it's like we like taking advantage that it's like right there. But I mean, why not? I can sit there and try to simulate it or fucking drive there and get it done, you know, the right way. Like, you know, no, it's some dope shit. I mean, we try to tell people to get to do it all the time, but some people just kind of make excuses. This too hard.
I mean, this camp for Casey, it was all snowshoes, you know, because there's 30 feet of snow up there. It's like the largest snowpack in California history. They told us we were in a mega drought, and we got more snow in Mammoth than ever. Like, more snow fell in February than any February on record. So, you know, the snowpack is healthy. We're going to have our reservoirs full in California all summer long. And, you know, she's climbing legitimate mountaineering.
We almost died in a blizzard.
No, so there was we usually go up on Thursday, and they had road closures, no travel recommended. It was, I think it was 120 mile per hour winds over 8,000 feet. So I took her right to 8,000 feet, and we lasted 3 hours. We went 2.2 miles in this blizzard-like condition. And I'm from Alaska, so I was like, this is nothing I can't handle. But let me tell you, man, in Alaska, it's cold where you're not going to get wet, you know? California, the snow, there's 30 feet of snow, 5 feet fell in the last 24 hours, and it's blowing and it's melting, and it is brutal. California's a whole different animal. I understand how the Donner Party got caught up there, died, and ate each other, you know?
See, Buchholz, we didn't make a deal, man. I want to be part of your Fight Life crew, man. You can get rid of them. I'll be a one-man game. We making us a nice deal. Everybody win, and I can watch the champion training become the champ and get that behind the scenes on Fight Life.
Oh, man. Anytime, of course. Yeah. I'm always trying to collaborate with you.
I've been to Sacktown. I need to go to Sacktown. I've been to California a lot, but I've not been to Sacktown.
We'll take you up to Lake Tahoe.
Oh, yeah. No, we're good. 100%. I mean, here's the deal. Like, I was telling Francis Ngannou about Tahoe, and he's like, "What is this Tahoe?" And I was like, "You know, the Godfather?" He goes, "Of course." You know? He goes, "Of course." I said, "Godfather 2, he had a house up there." He goes, "Oh."
But how many people do y'all see look like being mad up there, though? For real. Let's get real.
Yeah.
How many people like that look like being mad do y'all see in Tahoe? I've never been, but I bet you can count on one hand.
No, we'll take you to Tahoe. You're going to love it.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to like it? I swear, I promise.
You're gonna go up there having us passing out, running trails and shit in the snow.
You're like, I'm going to sit in the car. This looks real nice from inside the car.
Exactly. Let me have the heater blowing and everything. I'll be good. I'll be straight.
No, summertime, dude, it's beautiful too, dude. That's the thing about Lake Tahoe. Like, you can come out, you know, in the summertime or, you know, wintertime, but summertime beautiful too. It's super hot. Just go somewhere on the lake, paddleboard, chill, barbecue, whatever. So just come to Sacramento when it's warm, you know, we'll take you out to Lake Tahoe. You guys will enjoy it then for sure.
Hey, we'll set it up. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen this year, 2019. That's going to be part of the slip and dip journey for 2019. We'll make it happen.
Sacramento.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, this has been fun. We've almost we're hitting 45 minutes right now.
Time flies when you have fun.
Time does fly.
Yeah.
And we got action packed show. We had Shawn Porter. I know, but Justin keeps up with boxing. He got that big fight coming up on Saturday. So we got an action packed championship fighter, a champion in training. Got a recap and some insight to UFC 235. behind the scenes, the people behind the people.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been fun having you guys on. We always have a good time talking to you guys. So we can't wait to see you back in action again, Cynthia. Justin's always good talking to you as well. And thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for coming on. We're approaching our 100th episode, so hopefully maybe we can get you guys on for a quick little moment. We're gonna try to make that a big show. Yeah. Anything else before we let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening?
No, we're good. Stay tuned. We'll see when the next fight is lined up.
Slip and dip, Matt. Thank you, Kendrick. Thank you. Good talking to you guys.